I think the intent, let's move this out of the way. I think the intent of that particular video clip was just to show you a large number of initiatives that are based around people and skills and growth that we're running within ABSA. And I think that leads to some of the core things. I'm not going to go talk about our pipeline and the different bits and pieces we're doing on DevOps, because we've all said DevOps is about people and culture. And that is the topic that we said we were going to talk about today, which is quite heavily engaged around skills. So I'm going to run through that. But the intent of that was really just to show you lots and lots of different initiatives that we're doing to show that we love our people and we're growing our people and we're investing in our people. And I think this little quote at the bottom that comes from Disney, which is really about you can make this most amazing place and you can have all the toys and you can have a Euro Disney or one of these big Disney worlds. It's no good if people don't arrive and they don't come and use it. And I think that's really what we've got to bring through and what we do and how we're doing it. So I'm gonna run through a couple of important things. But to start off with, if I just look at the people side of things, I think that there's two pretty important ways of looking at the way we're going to go forward. And the first thing is really about one of the quotes that come from Mark Zuckerberg, which is basically don't hire people that you're not prepared to report to yourself in the future. And I think that's a very, very important way of looking at things in terms of who you hire and how you hire. The other important one is, and this is a Steve Jobs one, so none of these are my quotes, but I think they're quite important. But he talks about basically going through and you hiring smart people. And you don't want to hire smart people to tell them what to do. You hire smart people to tell you what to do. All right? And I think those are very, very important quotes for the philosophy of what we're trying to bring through, and we're trying to uplift the skill that we're working with inside our bank. So moving forward, I'm going to hit the culture thing. And the culture thing is silos. We've had lots and lots of silos. And if you wanted to know my view of what's happening in the last 6 months, those silos are coming down in our world. And that for me is a very, very important aspect of where we are. One of those pictures up there was an item that we did with an architectural forum where we had the superheroes and we created our chief architects. Some of them I see in the crowd here as superheroes. And the intent was they are there to protect the bank and they are there to do the right thing for the bank and how they pull things together. And they have to be the guardians of the galaxy. Those are the people that are big fans of Avengers. And how does architecture pull these items together? And we've been watching this happen over the last 6 months since we launched this approach. And those definite, not built here type syndromes and that type of thing are starting to collapse, and we're starting to see the output that comes from that. And in every area, we have different people focusing on different things. So we have pipelines built in Jenkins, we have pipelines built in Bamboo, and all the different tools that are out there. And we're not trying to stop people from doing multiple, we're keeping on one, and we're finding a really good pattern that's now coming out. And I think this is what Yusuf was also alluding to, is you get these patterns that we can start rolling out everywhere. And they're about continuous integration into the rest of the bank. And what we are seeing is we've got different areas. We've got the corporate investment side, we've got the wealth and insurance, we've got the retail bank, we've got the business bank. All of these different areas of the bank are all moving in parallel, slightly different speeds, but we're letting different people do different things to give us the gain overall, which is a fantastic place for us to be sitting. The other interesting thing is, so we've been running things like the hackathons, which I think everybody is doing. And what we're finding there is people that don't know each other going, hey, I've got this API. You can use this to get yourself done quite quickly and to do things quickly. And those are really, really good outcomes. And we're also finding in the middle of the hackathon, someone puts up their hand and says, can I start building a team? I'm just here to observe, but I want to start running. And that's showing a lot of collaboration, a lot of involvement in the way that things are getting dealt going forward. So I'm really enjoying that. And then we have these different teams that are running, and they are power teams that are saying, I'm the one that's taking the mobile stuff into production. I'm the one doing APIs. I'm the one doing cloud. And they're expert teams that are running, and that sharing and collaboration is key. And I have this little team that's a quiet team. It's not actually doesn't report to me, but it's our financial crime team. And I've seen Anton. I don't know if the rest are here. But for me, they are what makes this important. And whether I do this inside ABSA or we do it across the industry, I think these are important aspects that we all got to consider. So in this financial crime team, there's nobody in that team that is leading one of these big charged ego initiatives that's running through. But what these teams have done, these guys have gone and they've spoken to everybody that's done something and said, what have you done on the cloud? And they've taken some of our fairly heavily legacy stuff and they had their dev and test now running in the cloud. People said you couldn't do it. They've spoken to Marcus, who will talk later, and they've got their stuff running on Docker. They're using APIs. They're using continuous integration capability. They're doing Agile. They're sitting inside the collabs. And if we could get every team to run in exactly that same way, we start breaking and changing the organization pretty quickly. So we're encouraging teams like our financial crime team to go down that approach and get to the end game. I'll stop on that. I want to jump to the next piece, which is really about skills and training. One of the most important things that is for our bank is around shared growth. And this shared growth is about all of us. We all got a limited market we're working in at the moment. And one of the most important things for us to do is to grow that market. Now, we can't grow that market if the people that are living in this market aren't uplifting themselves. So we've got to find ways of uplifting, and this is about skills and investment. I don't know how many of you know, but there is 20% of the African continent that is in the age group of 15 to 24 years old. It's the biggest in the age group in the world, on the continent in that group. And if we invest in that, that's our future spend. So it's important we invest in training and skills in that particular group. There's other pretty important aspects on the African continent. More than 300 million people are unbanked. They're never really going to be banked for profitability unless we invest in them, get money flowing through them, grow them, etc. And that in turn gives everybody sitting in this room, be it vendors, be it banks, and other financial institutions, the ability to uplift and come out in a different way. So big investment in that. And then the other important stat is 33% of the continent is SMEs. And those SMEs sit there on the borderline and they fail and they make it. So big investment in that. So from an ABSA and Barclays perspective, we're putting in over R1 billion to invest in shared growth to uplift the market that we live in and the way that we're going to operate. And we encourage everybody around the auditorium here essentially to think about trying to do that same thing. Grow the skills, invest heavily. And we're doing some small initiatives, which, again, I'd love it if people can copy these type of things, but we're doing things like Tech Muller. One of the little icons there is $1. And what we're doing is we're basically saying to all our technical staff, you can go choose whatever you want to do. You can study Chinese. Kirshni studied some Chinese with her money. You know, some people have done photography courses, and we've done a whole range of different things like that, which is about people investing in themselves. Some are investing inside tech, some of them investing in others. And as you bring innovation to the things that you love, you start crossing the different borders. Not only tech, but it's about the other things that you're tied to. So really, really good output that is coming from that. And I've been told I've got 20 seconds left or 30 seconds left. So to wrap up on that, you know, this is about retaining good skill, building skill, and moving in the right way. All of that becomes cultural. It's about investing in your people, having fun with your people. And that's really what we're trying to put in place. And I think we've made some really, really good strides recently. And that is resulting in good DevOps, engineering type stuff that's coming out, where the sharing of this knowledge and culture is bringing a power pattern-based change in our organization. So that's where we are at the moment. Thank you.